Okay, just when you guys thought that I'd completely lost the plot, this one's really pushing a lot. So you guys might, get probably might get a lot of comments here, people laughing at me and things like that. That's all good. My mate in England, who's some great research, and he's on this Welsh guy, who's an incredible researcher, and he's talking about these fasces, okay? And I'll show you what they are. Because now you see what they are, you will see them everywhere. They're everywhere, okay? And in this presentation, it's a 5.5 hour presentation. He's talking about one description of them is they're called God killers, okay? Because they destroy that which is faceless, okay? And they're everywhere. They're from all different times, and they're used. It looks like they're used in battle, okay? And it's harmonic sound technology. Now, he talks and he shows pictures and images, and I'll put the link in the comments below this video of the presentation. But he talks about this, all taps into Wilhelm Reich with orgone energy and things like that. But he talks about how sound frequencies can literally disintegrate buildings, and it's the same with 9/11. That the rubble that was left at 9/11 should have been 4 or 5 stories high, and it wasn't. A lot of people were saying a lot of it evaporated, right? There was definitely a technology used. And again, there's a lot of research in this. David Weiss covers this a lot in Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole on his website. If you go and look at on his website, he covers it extensively. A woman wrote a book on this as well, with a lot of scientific research to back it up. I'll try and find it and put it in the comments or the links below. Where am I going with this? Whoever had these devices basically had the power, okay? And it would do a lot of detrimental damage to the body as well. Now, a modern day version of that is 5G, okay? And we see this with millimeter wave technology when we watch, seen it on the news. I shared it a few months ago when there's a group of people, and the 5G technology that's been used for years in the military can literally make a human's body temperature go incredibly hot straight away, like that, okay? And they use it to scatter crowds. And this is, the 5G network is a massive frequency, so that it can be tuned into different strengths and different frequencies. So where am I going with this? One thing that came to me was, when I heard the description of it being called a God killer, that something that kills the faceless, it made me think of the insight I got from that was, by using sound, okay, potentially they could create such an incoherent because everything's vibration, okay? Everything's frequency and vibration. They could create such an incoherent field, frequency sound field, that it would keep the benevolent, coherent souls away, okay? So the more they can keep them away, the more they can do what they want here, because there's less chance of these benevolent beings being able to help. And this is the importance of, and why every spiritual tradition chants a mantra, whether you're Hindu, whether you're Buddhist. There's all, the power of prayer and chant and sound is so important, because you are creating then a coherent environment, sound, harmonics, frequency, field, that then benevolent beings can come and help you. You're creating a bridge Another thing that came to me was with the 5G network, everything has yin yang. So I believe it could be used for our benefit, meaning that it could use, I still don't agree with this, by the way. I'd rather it not be there, but it could be used to give off coherent harmonics, coherent cymatics that might help with a mass awakening. For example, we think we're all right when we don't know what good feels like. Good to us just means, to a lot of people, just means they're waking up without a hangover. You with me? But we're eating shit food all the time. We're drinking terrible, with polluted water. We're breathing in polluted air. We're sitting in EMF, electromagnetic frequencies all the time. We don't even know what good feels like. So, and this is why we're so incoherent. There's all this research into how Project Paperclip, with the Nazi scientists that came over to the US that were kept, they tuned everything, to even all the instruments and the music. They tuned it to a key that was incoherent to humans. Okay, so we're getting bombarded, basically, and so it could be used to create a harmonious field that could help with the awakening, make us come into the heart more, whatever. So that's the potential benefits of it. But if you look at what it could be used for in a negative sense, apart from being so toxic to the body it gives you flu-like symptoms, this is an insight I got. It's only my thinking. This is just how my brain's thinking. So, I'll take it with a pinch of salt. I don't know if you have. If you haven't, you can find it easy. Go on a website. Elon Musk, he's got these videos of him launching these 5G satellites. Okay, these lights just going in the sky, continuous. Okay, and I think he's putting up hundreds of thousands or even 2 million satellites into orbit to keep this 5G field for his automated cars and things like this. The 5G smart grid. Now, I don't necessarily believe in satellites, I'll be honest with you, and that's a whole nother story. But just let's say they could be satellites or they could be drones, okay? I'm going to link a couple of things here. Wernher von Braun, check him out. He was a top Nazi scientist that came over in Project Paperclip, best friends with Walt Disney, and started NASA. I could talk about these, quite a lot of research, Wernher von Braun quite a bit, but he had the deathbed confessions, okay? And in his deathbed confessions, he said, this is what we're going to do. And a lot of it's what's already happened. He said, but then we're going to fake a asteroid hitting the Earth. And finally, to create the one world order where everyone comes together, we're going to fake an alien invasion. Alien has in the word a lie, okay? I'm not saying there's not extraterrestrials, okay? That's another video again, don't want to go down that road. An alien invasion. Now, he also has a psalm on his gravestone, and the psalm is from the Bible where God talks about a firmament. And again, I'm not going to go down that road, okay? But he knew something that we don't. My point is this. If you watch a movie, a later movie that's just come out, or not been out for long, called Spider-Man, the last Spider-Man movie called Spider-Man Far From Home, Mysterio is the bad guy, Jake Gyllenhaal, right? Mysterio uses drones to project monsters or disasters, and he fights them off, okay? It's all an illusion. This is giving you a message there. When Spider-Man, there's a part where Spider-Man's fighting him. Spider-Man thinks he's in this really dark place and he doesn't know what's up, down, left, right, but it's just the projection, these holographic projections from the drones, and he's just in the street. Now, even at the end, the very end of the credits, Mysterio tricks the whole world and fakes something that I can't remember what it was now. Spider-Man's a bad guy, something that he didn't do, okay? So these are all symbolism for what they can do by tricking what we see with holographic technology. Now, what happens if we blanket the sky, Elon Musk blankets the sky with drones or satellites that create a field? this alien invasion, they could project so easily with the technology that they've got an alien invasion. Okay, now you might think, well, if it's a hologram, and what, it's not. We're not going to experience it on the ground. It might just look bad. Okay, it might just look like real. Well, that's not necessarily true neither, because where artificial technology is going, they could have some type of aliens that we're fighting that are robots. In New Zealand, they've got a artificial intelligent robot that's a police officer. So, you think this is all miles away and this is sci-fi bullshit. This is happening right now. You look what DARPA's doing with AI. So these are all things that I've just been putting together, which is fascinating. I suggest watching Spider-Man. Watch Spider-Man, because but I don't want this to be doom and gloom, guys. I don't want you to be scared here, because at the same time something's happening. Whether you believe in the what's happening with Q and Trump and all the rest of it, and I don't think worshipping one figure like Trump or the Q plan is our answer to this. We have to go within. We have to come together. And we have to peacefully grow out of this. Drop fear and stop consenting. Okay, I've just drove past about 200 people in this medical centre around the corner, and they're all standing outside in line, keeping their distance. And I wound the window down. I shouted across the first time I drove past them. I shouted in. I said, "What are you queuing up for?" And the little nurse woman there who had a mask on, all the get up on, she said, "Oh, this is for COVID testing." I said, "Is it voluntary?" And she said, "If you want to get tested, you've got to go through your GP." I said, "I don't want to be tested." I said, "I'm just asking, is it voluntary? Are these people volunteering to do this?" And she said, yeah, they volunteered. Everyone looked healthy. Everyone looked all right. And people are volunteering to see if they've got something and they feel okay. And I've just had another experience. I've just picked my car up because it's just had some work done on it. They got the hail damage fixed. And one of the lads who's been saving me, he's 32-year-old, lovely lad, great lad. Not even fat, right? He's not even fat. I'll tell you why that's important now. He's not even fat, like a little bit of weight on him. I wouldn't say he was fat. He comes out with a mask on. I said, "Is the mask because you've been spraying?" He said, no, it's for the COVID. I said, "Oh, you're not buying that, are you, buddy?" And he went, there's some skeptics out there. And I said, "Mate, what are you scared of?" I said, I'll get it. Give it to me. This is, And he turned around and he said to me, "Yeah, but it's okay for you. I'm fat." Right now, I probably handled it wrong because it made me laugh and I couldn't help it. It was like someone telling you a funny joke and you laugh. I actually laughed. But when I drove away, I thought, wow. I was thinking, so you're fat and you'll still go home and get a 6-pack of beer and a KFC, but you'll wear a mask? I mean, wouldn't you try and think, I don't get it. So that being fat's lowering your immune system. Wouldn't you try and just eat healthier? And I just was really bamboozled. And this lad wasn't even fat. It was like he was making excuses for wearing a mask. And I don't know, it was a real weird experience. It was so easy to see how people can be deceived by something that's just a thought, an illusion. So imagine what they can do if they can actually project something out there. But I think there's something definitely happening. Bill Gates has been quiet. A number of people have been quiet now. Elon's been quiet for a little bit. Don't get me wrong. I'm hoping it is. I think something is happening. When people are saying they're getting trialed and things like that, we'll see. This is going to be a really interesting 12 months. If you think the last 7 months, 2020 has been interesting, I think the next 12 is going to be interesting. But it's not about sitting back, in my opinion, and waiting to see what happens. That will happen as it's meant to happen. That will take its own time and its own course, depending on how it's meant to be. But my suggestion is we have to be calm, trust in our bodies, trust in ourselves, because we are not feeble beings. We are definitely divine, strong beings. It's not a mistake. We're not a mistake. I mean, look at this biological being that exists. It is absolutely incredible. So start backing it. okay? Our soul, our conscious awareness, start backing it, trusting that it knows what it's doing. And just realise that there's 118 deaths in Australia. That is crazy. 118 deaths, 11,000 confirmed cases. So what's the rate of getting over it? It's like 99%. And those people, it's not guaranteed that they died of COVID. They always say died after testing positive of COVID, which means they didn't die of COVID, they just tested positive. And if you look at the research from Dr. Buttar and Dr. Kaufman, we could all have some type of coronavirus in our bodies now. Don't matter. There's 10 to the 15th, according to Zach Bush, viruses in the body that are always changing. That's 10 with 15 zeros after it. We're here because of viruses, and they're trying to find one strain. Flu jab's been out for over 70 years. They still get the flu because the flu's always changing. So, I mean, just start waking up. You've got a mask over. Just breathe into your hands a few times. If it doesn't feel nice, you're expelling all of this junk and you're holding it in a mask and you're breathing it back in. It's lowering your oxygen intake, which is affecting your immune system, and you're carrying all that bacteria around on the mask. Just common sense, guys. Common sense. There's so many people coming out saying the masks is a waste of time anyway. Another thing that my wife's just told me as well is there was apparently someone come up from Sydney and has got COVID in the area that I'm in, right, in Nelson Bay, which is a little, you've got to go off the main road to get here, so whatever. You can't just go through here, you've got to go in here or out here. And so it's just said the confirmed case, but another thing that's just come out is 2 mysterious towers have gone up in Fingal Bay, which is in the area, and it just turned out that they're 5G towers. So just look at it, right? I'm not saying, I'm just looking at it from a bigger picture, okay? And I'm trying to get you to see this as well. They need to have some type of confirmed case here, because if they start pumping out 5G, the symptoms, okay, the symptoms when the body is subject to a lot of toxicity, even through radiation, a lot of research on this, the symptoms are flu-like symptoms, okay? And then there's already cases in the area now, you get me? So what are the chances that all of a sudden there's a guy who's got COVID, now everyone's shutting their shops again? This is the second wave that I mentioned a few months ago. It's going to come. Now everyone's wearing masks and queuing up to get tested. What's the chances that happens after there's two more towers been put up in Fingal Bay? Just putting it out there just to think about. Not saying that the 5G, and this will probably get deleted because the algorithms, is creating the COVID, but the symptoms are the body trying to get rid of toxicity caused by toxic EMF frequencies. So just wanted to get this out. A lot of things going through my head at the minute. I've had a lot of insights in my meditations today as well, which is I'm going to leave for the weekend because I've got a workshop on the weekend. It's not about conspiracy stuff, it's more spiritual stuff. Again, if this works, take it on and help, maybe use it. If it doesn't, just drop it. No attachments. I love you all. Take care.